Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 25th of September 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to cover some topics from the mains perspective, and we are going to cover some topics for the prelims perspective. And we are going to start the discussion with a mapping topic, where we are going to map a particular place which is going to be helpful for the prelims exam of 2024. So let us quickly see the list of topics that we are going to cover in today's newspaper analysis. So these are the list of articles that we are going to cover, and this is the reference. I mean, like, the syllabus part related to this. And apart from this, we are going to cover these many additional topics as well. So let us start the discussion with the first topic, which is a mapping based topic. So today we are going to cover a topic which is known as ASEAN. So ASEAN stands for Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Okay, Association of Southeast Asian Nations. So ASEAN grouping has been in news recently because of multiple reasons. Okay, one of the reason is, like, recently the ASEAN members have decided that the next time in 2026 the presidency should have been taken by Myanmar. And since Myanmar has had a military coup, whereas they have toppled the democratically elected government, so that's why, I mean, the ASEAN leadership has decided that they are not going to hand over the, let's say, the presidency of ASEAN to Myanmar. So it will be taken over by Indonesia in 2026. So that was one of the contexts in which ASEAN was in news. And other forum was recently the US president has visited there. And they have, let's say, along with the US president and one of the, let's say, leader from Vietnam, they have given some kind of a statement, right? A statement related to free and open Indo-Pacific region. So these are some of the contexts for which it has been in news. So let us understand about, ASEAN as a grouping. So ASEAN has 10 member countries as part of it, right? Who are the member countries of ASEAN? So these are the list of, let's say, member countries. So one of the member of ASEAN is Myanmar, which is the immediate neighbor of India. So India shares direct land border with Myanmar. Then we have Thailand as the second member. And if we go to the bottom of this thing, there is a tipping point here, we have Singapore. Okay, Myanmar, Thailand, Singapore. So this is on one side. Apart from this, if we go this way, right? So we have, let's say, Cambodia. So this is Cambodia. And then we have this Vietnam, 5, we have Laos, we have Malaysia. This is, let's say, 7th. So Malaysia is divided into 2 different regions. So the color over here that we see, this color, okay, and this one. So these are parts of Malaysia. So Malaysia is divided into 2 different islands. So this is Malaysia, this is 7th country. Apart from this, we have Indonesia as 8th country, the dark blue color wherever you see. So these are territories of Indonesia. Then we have Brunei. Brunei is a very small country over here. Okay, Brunei. So this is the 9th country, and 10th country is Philippines. So these are the member countries of ASEAN. How many countries are there? 10 countries. Okay. So this Malaysia, Thailand, then we have Singapore, Myanmar, Thailand, Singapore, and then Malaysia is divided into 2 different islands, right? Then we have Cambodia over here. This is Vietnam and this is Laos. Then Indonesia, Brunei, Philippines. These are the 10 member countries. And here I have, let's say, included a list of member countries also. So this list has been arranged in a manner that, alphabetical manner. So this is Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. So these are 10 member nations. So you need to remember the name of the member countries of this ASEAN grouping. So ASEAN also has something which is known as ASEAN plus 3, okay, which is known as APT, ASEAN plus 3. So in ASEAN plus 3, we have ASEAN. Along with this, we have Japan. Then we have South Korea, and also we have China. Okay, so it has ASEAN plus 3 has China, South Korea, and Japan. And there is another extended membership which is known as ASEAN plus 6. Okay, ASEAN plus 6. So this includes these 3 member countries also. Along with this, it includes India, it includes Australia, and it includes another country, right? So that we need to check. So it has ASEAN +3 and ASEAN +6. Okay, so like these are extended groupings. So they are informal groupings. However, this is the formal grouping, and ASEAN has been established in 1967. And in 2007, they have, let's say, like, they have created the Charter of ASEAN. They have created the constituting document of ASEAN in 2007, after about 4 decades. However, this particular grouping is a successful grouping, which is, let's say, like still functional, and it has, let's say, like, deepened the ties between the member countries. Then I have included the additional map just to showcase how the Malaysia looks like. So here, like, this is Malaysia. This is also part of Malaysia. Okay, so Malaysia is divided into 2 regions, as we see in the previous map. So in the previous map, we have seen Malaysia to be divided into 2 different regions. So this is the detailed map of Malaysia. Okay, then we have some other detailed maps also. This Brunei, very small country, right? So it is little larger than Singapore. Singapore is a dotted region, and this is Brunei. Okay, map of Brunei. And then we have this, like, let's say, like, the entire map of, let's say, Asia or Southeast Asia. That's the thing. So here is ASEAN. Okay, and this is Singapore, this small dotted country. Okay, so this is just for understanding the, let's say, location of these countries, so that, like, if a question comes, you will be able to solve this question. Now we are going to discuss about this topic. This topic is important for GS paper 2. Okay, it is important for GS paper 2 of the mains exam, and it is also important for prelims, because in prelims they may ask a question which is related to some of the, let's say, concepts associated with this thing. So this topic has been written by like Prashant Bhushan. He is a renowned lawyer as well, and he is an activist. So he has talked about simultaneous polls. He says simultaneous polls, but only in a presidential system. Okay, so let's understand about this topic in detail. Name of the topic is simultaneous polls, but only in presidential system. But only in presidential system. So first of all, we are going to understand the context of this topic, and then we are going to go into the detail of it. Okay, what is the context? So the context is, recently the central government has appointed a 8-member committee, and that 8-member committee is headed by the former president of India. Okay, former president of India, Mr. Ramnath Kovind. Okay, so the central government has created a panel, expert body of having 8 members, and it is presided by former president of India, Mr. Ramnath Kovind. What is the, let's say, like, what is the term of reference for this body? The term of reference for this body is, like, they should look into the matter of conducting simultaneous elections, whether it is feasible to conduct simultaneous elections in India. Okay, so so it has 7 reference points. Okay, reference point, or 7-point term of reference. I would say 7-point term of reference for this body. So having understood this, having understood the context, let us now understand that, like, what do we mean by simultaneous elections? Okay, what do we mean by simultaneous elections? Simultaneous elections. So we will understand about simultaneous elections. Simultaneous elections is also known as one nation, one election concept. Okay, so this is similar to this concept, one nation, one election. So what do we mean by one nation, one election? It means we want to conduct elections simultaneously for the Lok Sabha and for state legislative assemblies. Okay. So as of now, Lok Sabha elections are conducted after every 5 years. So in 2024, we are going to have a Lok Sabha election, and before that we had in 2019. But state legislative assembly elections are conducted round the year for different states. Means like, next month there will be around 5 states in India that are going for election mode. Okay. So the government of India, the present ruling party, wants to conduct all the elections together. All means the general elections for Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly elections. So it will not include the elections at the lower levels. Lower levels, let's say like, the Panchayati Raj elections or elections for the municipal corporation and all. So that is not included as part of one nation, one election. So when we talk about one nation, one election, we want to conduct election for Lok Sabha and state legislative assembly elections together. So now, what are the benefits of conducting this? The central government has said there are many benefits of it. So in this article, they have not talked about benefits. However, like, to give a brief background to this, we need to understand that thing as well. So one of the benefits that the government has said that it is going to reduce the election expenditure. Okay, it is going to reduce the election expenditure. Second benefit that the government has said that, like, if we conduct the election after every 5 years, if we conduct simultaneous elections, after then the parties will not have to go for voting and re-election and all. So they will be able to focus more on governance, right? So second is to focus more on governance. Okay, to focus more on governance. So these are the two benefits that the central government has proposed, that like if we conduct simultaneous elections, these two benefits will be there for the nation. However, in this article, Mr. Prashant Bhushan has talked about, let's say, why simultaneous election is not feasible in India. Why it is not feasible. He has talked about, he has compared, let's say, like, parliamentary system of elections or parliamentary form of government, right, with presidential form of government. Parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. Why? Presidential form of government. So Mr. Prashant Bhushan has said that we are a federal country and we are a democratic country. Democratic means here, let's say, all the posts are filled, right, through elections that happen, right? So the thing is, like, we are following the parliamentary form of government, which is similar to Great Britain. That's the thing. So here, like, we have central government, right? We have central government, we have state government, okay, we have state government, etc. So the thing is, like, we have a federal structure in the country. However, in presidential system, they also have a federal structure. In parliamentary system and in presidential system, the difference lies in the case that in parliamentary form of government, everybody, I mean, like, everyone has to come through election, and the thing is, like, power is divided. Means like the central government has power, state government has power, and the power is divided among the members and opposition parties. In case of presidential form of government, what happens? The power is concentrated on the main person, the president of the country. Okay, so in the presidential form of government. So Prashant Bhushan says that, like, if we convert the Constitution of India, if we convert the type of the nation, means like if we convert this thing to presidential form of government, then it will be feasible to conduct simultaneous election. Why? Because, like, we can have all the elections together, and if the president dies or he, let's say, leaves from office, then the vice president becomes the president. And then if he also goes, then Speaker of the House becomes the president, like that. So in presidential form of government, this is the case. But in parliamentary form of government, if one particular party, right, is not able to withstand the no confidence motion, then the government dissolves, okay, in the central level and also at the state level. So the government dissolves over there. So the thing is, like, Prashant Bhushan says that, like, if it happens that one of the state legislature, if let's say in one of the state legislature, the government dissolves, then the case is like, another election has to be conducted in parliamentary form of government. And if election is not conducted, then like, president's rule has to be applied. So it is going to, let's say, meddle with the kind of autonomy for the government. I mean, like the state government will suffer in the long run. So that's why he has suggested to move from the parliamentary form of government to presidential form of government if actually government wants to implement the simultaneous elections, if they want to implement one nation, one election. And he has also talked about the name of articles that needs to be amended, okay? Name of articles that needs to be amended for implementing the presidential form of government. So he says that part 6, the union, okay? So part 6, the union, part 5. So which parts needs to be amended, okay? So suggested amendments by Prashant Bhushan. So he says part 5, the union, okay? Part 5, the union. Chapter 1, executive, okay? So chapter 1, the executive. So here he has mentioned the name of the articles also, like article number 52 to 78, okay? So they need to be amended initially. Then chapter 3, legislative powers of the president, okay? So then chapter 3, I mean, like, he has talked about that, like chapter 3 has to be amended, which is related to legislative powers of the president. Then chapter 6, the states. Chapter 2, the executive, article 153 to 167. So he has mentioned that many of these articles needs to be amended to convert the parliamentary form of government to presidential form of government. And in this article, he has talked about that this does not constitute amending the basic structure of the constitution, because he says that, like, converting the government, form of government from parliamentary to president does not include amending the basic structure of the constitution. Why? He says that democracy is the basic structure of the constitution. So the presidential form of government is also democratic form of government, and parliamentary form of government is also democratic form of government. So he says it does not amount to amending the basic structure of the constitution. So in that case, the government can go ahead with this, okay? So in this article, the author has talked about that the attempt being made by the government of the day to veer towards simultaneous election will be deeply problematic in parliamentary democracy. He says it is deeply problematic to parliamentary democracy. So he says, like, if you actually wants to implement it, you need to form a presidential form of government first, then you can implement this, okay? So this is the thing. And author says that, like, since there will be few states which is going to election mode in the next month, okay, next month or next few months. So those states, I mean, like, the central government is feeling that, like, those states may lose in the election. So that's why they want to postpone the election, and that's why they have come up with this idea of let's say simultaneous elections. So with this, we have another topic. This topic is again important. It says an economic corridor, the Israel link and geopolitics, okay? An economic corridor, the Israel link and geopolitics. We are going to talk about this. This topic is important from international relations perspective, okay? Name of the topic is an economic corridor. So we are going to understand about which economic corridor we are talking about, okay? An economic corridor, the Israel link and geopolitics. The Israel link and geopolitics. So let's talk about which economic corridor the author talks about in this article. Name of the economic corridor is India, Middle East, okay? India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. Europe economic corridor. So let's talk about this corridor. So this corridor has been recently announced by the let's say by the Prime Minister of India during the G20 summit. Okay, during the G20 summit. So we have held the presidency of G20 so far, right? And during this summit, we have announced India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. So what is this economic corridor all about? How many countries is it connecting? So that thing has been mentioned in this article, and I have discussed about this particular India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor in detail also in a mapping topic earlier. So now here this economic corridor is going to connect, right? It's going to connect India with Middle East countries, and through Middle East, we'll be able to connect to Europe also. So from India, we will be able to export our goods directly through this corridor. And as part of this corridor, Israel is also there. Okay, so Israel is also a part of this corridor. In this article, the author has said that the Israeli Prime Minister, he has not been invited in G20. Okay, he has not been invited in G20. And since India has had the presidency during its G20 summit, along with all the G20 members, India has invited 9 more countries, right, which have not been members of G20 to participate in the G20 summit. And in this article, the author has also talked about that, we have included, African Union. We have included African Union as member of G20. So that has been a significant move. And in this article, the author also talks about that, India has played a good diplomatic role by bringing all the countries together in launching New Delhi Declaration, which is Delhi Declaration. Why Delhi Declaration was important? Because this is something that talks about the consensus. It talks about consensus among the members. And we have had, let's say, Russia, China, although the leaders of these two countries did not participate directly, however, we have received consensus from them also on the topics that have been mentioned in the, Delhi Declaration as part of G20 summit. So in this article, the author has talked about that this particular corridor, right? It has countries. India is going to connect with United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel. Okay, so India will be able to connect United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and Israel. So author has also talked about why Israel, the Prime Minister of Israel did not participate. It may have been because the President of USA may not have wanted him to participate. That was one thing that the author has mentioned. Second reason is there can be some difficulty with Saudi Arabia and Israel. Although their relationship has been, let's say, pacified to a certain extent through Abraham Accords that have been signed between these member countries. So this is the thing in this article the author has talked about, that Israel is the weak link in the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor plan. Okay. Abraham Accord is between Israel, UAE, and Bahrain, right? So here in this article, the article revolves around Israel. So Israel has, let's say, tensions with Saudi Arabia. It has tensions with, let's say, Gulf countries. But it has normalized its ties on its own with some of the members. But through Abraham Accord, the ties have been further normalized with Saudi Arabia, Bahrain also. And it has been brokered. I mean, it has been the Abraham Accord, to bring the Abraham Accord, United States of America has played a key role over there. Here, all these member countries are not part of Abraham Accord. Here we are talking about relationship of Israel with Saudi Arabia. Okay. I mean, in this article, the author has mainly talked about role of Israel in the India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor. And since this economic corridor connects Israel also, but the thing is, Israeli Prime Minister or the leader of Israel has not been invited also in G20 summit. This is the issue that the author has talked about. Okay. So author has talked about what can be the issues. So this author actually he teaches, let's say, Israeli studies. Okay. So associate professor and Center for Israeli Studies and all. So especially the link, let's say like issue of Israel has been taken into account in this article. So this says taking India back to the drawing board. Okay. This article is also important. It is important under GS paper 2, right? So in this article, we are going to talk about very important thing. Name of the topic is taking India back to the drawing board. Back to the drawing. Why it is written as drawing board? Basically, through this article, the author wants to highlight the importance of the delimitation exercise. Okay, delimitation exercise. So we are going to understand what is delimitation exercise. We are going to understand why it is important. So the context of this particular article is author has highlighted about Constitution 128th Constitution Amendment Act, okay, or Constitution Amendment Bill of 2023. So this 128th Constitutional Amendment Bill, which talks about giving 1/3 reservation, okay, 1/3 reservation to women in Parliament, okay, to women in Parliament and State Legislative Assembly. In Parliament and State Legislative Assemblies elections, okay. So in this article, the author has said that this recently central government has passed 128th Constitutional Amendment Bill from the Lok Sabha and from the Rajya Sabha. It has been passed. It has gone for presidential assent. That's the thing. So this particular reservation bill wants to give reservation to the SC and ST women in the Parliament, especially in Lok Sabha. Okay, when we talk about Parliament, so we mean Lok Sabha only. It does have Rajya Sabha as well, but like this bill is going to give reservation to women in Lok Sabha. Apart from this, in State Legislative Assembly elections also. However, once this bill is passed, it will not directly come into, let's say, like, play. Like women are not going to get reservation instantly, because here in this particular bill, the author has present government has included some provisions that they want to conduct a census. Okay, they want to conduct a census, and they are also going to conduct. Okay, so that census will be called as socio-economic and caste census. So they want to conduct a census also, and they want to conduct a delimitation exercise. But the delimitation exercise that the government of India wants to conduct, so it will be able to conduct the delimitation exercise in 2026. Okay, it will be able to conduct. And before this, right, through the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, okay, which has happened in 1976, they have fixed the census to 1971. Okay, so they have said that the constituencies will be drawn, right, based on 1971 census only. And after then, this has to be amended. Let's say, like, there is a constitution, there is an article which is Article 81 of the Constitution that says that, like, in 2001 they had to do this exercise again, but in 2001 they have postponed it to 2026. So we have to wait till 2026, and the thing is, a census has to happen in 2021, means like it was about to happen, but because of COVID-19, that census exercise has been postponed. Okay, it has been postponed, and now this census will happen in 2031. This census may happen in 2031. That's the thing. If it happens in 2031, so it's going to take a long time for women to actually get the reservation. So this is what is mentioned in this article. In this article, they have talked about few articles of the Constitution. The Article 81 of the Constitution says that each state gets the seat in the Lok Sabha in proportion to its population. Okay, so it mentions Article 81 of the constitution also, okay, 81 of the constitution, that each state will get its seat according to the proportion of population. However, if we talk about northern Indian states has more population, southern states has little lesser population. And the thing is, like, during Indira Gandhi's prime ministership, that time the government has initiated a population control measure. So southern states have been able to control their population, but in northern states we have seen more rise in population. So once the census is conducted in 2031, at that point of time, we may see, right, we may see huge changes in the constituencies. And recently, the parliament has also been moved from the old building to a new building. And in the new parliament building, right, in the new parliament building, they have around 800 members sitting capacity. Okay. In the new parliament building, they have around 800 members of sitting capacity. And so after a census is conducted and then delimitation is done, so after then significantly the number of members in the parliament, means like member of parliament, will increase. And if they increase, so new parliament building may be able to accommodate that thing also. But this article has talked about that, like, the women may face difficulty in getting the reservation soon. So author says we need a robust conversation around delimitation sooner than later, so that lifting of the freeze on allocation of seat does not have to be pushed ahead further. That's the thing. Okay, so this article is related to that. Now we need to understand what is delimitation. Delimitation means drawing boundaries for constituencies. Okay, drawing boundaries for constituencies for Lok Sabha elections and for state legislative assembly elections. Recently, delimitation exercise has been conducted in the state of Assam by the Election Commission of India. But another delimitation that will be conducted, I mean, like, if it is conducted across India, so it's going to take a long time. And for that, the Election Commission of India needs updated census data. And that census data, the present government has said that we will conduct census only after the next election, means like after this election that happens, the Lok Sabha election. So they are going to do it then. So that's the thing. And this is another article. This article is related to Buddhism. So, I mean, this is important for prelims exam and also important for the GS paper 1 of the mains exam. So, some of the people, some researchers have visited Sri Lanka, and after visiting Sri Lanka, they are, let's say, like, going to places that are associated with Lord Buddha. Okay, that are associated with Lord Buddha. So, Buddhism is associated with Lord Buddha and his teachings. And in this article, they have mentioned about some of the, let's say, like, they have mentioned about 3 Pitakas, which is known as Sutta Pitaka, Vinay Pitaka, and Abhidhamma Pitaka. Okay, so we have 3 Pitakas, one of the Pitaka. So these Pitakas are known as, let's say, teachings of Lord Buddha. Okay, so in this article, we will talk about 3 Pitakas. So one of the 3 Pitaka is known as Sutta Pitaka. Then we have Vinay Pitaka, and third is Abhidhamma Pitaka. Third is Abhidhamma Pitaka. So what is Sutta Pitaka? Basically, the teachings of Lord Buddha has been translated to different generations through oral means. Okay, so they have been translated through oral means, and they have been codified in a book which is known as Sutta Pitaka. So Sutta Pitaka includes the teachings of Lord Buddha, what Lord Buddha has taught. And also in Buddhism, people do study a different kind of books that are known as Jataka stories. Okay, they are known as Jataka stories. So Jataka stories are associated with let's say, like, birth and rebirth of Lord Buddha. So like in these stories, they have talked about that Lord Buddha has taken multiple rebirths in different shapes, different forms. I mean, like sometimes as an animal, sometimes as a crocodile, sometimes as different creatures. So Jataka stories talk about the, like, let's say, life of Lord Buddha in different forms. So these 3 Pitakas, they are known as 3 Pitakas. So Sutta Pitaka contain the teachings of Lord Buddha, and this is the most voluminous among them all, means like it is, let's say it has more volume. Then we have Vinay Pitaka. So Sutta Pitaka means, so let me write down, teachings of Buddha, simply, okay. Vinay Pitaka includes the codes of conduct for those people who are part of monasteries, okay, means like, for the monks and for the nuns. So those people, like, what should be their code of conduct, that is mentioned in Vinay Pitaka, okay, code of conduct for monks and nuns. That's the thing. What is Abhidhamma Pitaka? Right. So in Abhidhamma Pitaka, they have included the philosophical aspect of Buddha's teaching. Okay, philosophical aspects has been included. So in this article, they have talked about, let's say, various, the three Pitakas. They have also talked about various things associated with Lord Buddha. Lord Buddha, let's say, Ashoka was one of the ruler, and during Ashoka's time, Ashoka has sent his son and daughter. Name of the daughter was Sangamitra. Name of the son was? No. So he has sent his son and daughter to Sri Lanka, to different places. They have gone to Sri Lanka, and in Sri Lanka they have planted the first generation saplings of the Bodhi tree. Okay, so they have planted that particular thing in Sri Lanka at a place which is known as Anuradhapura. So in this article they have mentioned about this Anuradhapura also. Okay, so now here in this article they have talked about another person who was contemporary. Okay, contemporary means he lived in the same timing as that of Ashoka. Okay, so during Ashoka's time there was a monk. So his name is, so it is mentioned in this article itself. Okay, yeah, Sri Lankan king Devanampriya, Sri Lankan king Devanampriya Tissa. So he was a contemporary of King Ashoka. That's the thing. So in this article they have mentioned. So what do we need to do? We need to revisit the Buddhism. Okay, we need to learn about Buddhism. There are many concepts associated with Buddhism. We have different types of Buddhism also practices. Mahayana Buddhism, Hinayana Buddhism. Then we have, let's say, different forms of Buddha and teachings of Buddha. There are, let's say, Buddha's life is also depicted using different animals, the different stages of life. For example, when he renunciated his home, so that event is denoted using horse, with horse. Then there is bull symbol also that is associated with the birth of Lord Buddha. Okay, so different symbols are associated with life of Buddha. So in this article they have mentioned this. So we have a question, quickly we will look into this question. It says, consider the following pairs: Sutta Pitaka, Vinay Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka. Sutta Pitaka they have mentioned, it is the largest of the three Pitakas and contains the discourses of Buddha. This is right, correctly matched. Okay. Second, Vinay Pitaka, it contains the rules and regulations governing the behavior of Buddhist monks and nuns. Because in Buddhism, so they have allowed women also to participate in those sanghas. Okay, so that's the thing. Then third is Abhidhamma Pitaka. It is a collection of philosophical treatises and explore the nature of reality. This is also right. So all the three are right. Correct answer is option C. Okay, so like through this article we were able to revisit Buddhism quickly. So we have another topic. This topic is again important. It says Fukushima nuclear wastewater controversy. Okay. Now, what is this controversy all about? So in Japan has seen a massive earthquake. Okay, there was a massive earthquake and tsunami. Okay, earthquake and tsunami in 2011. So after that earthquake and tsunami, one of their nuclear power plant, which is known as Fukushima nuclear power plant, it got damaged. Okay, so it got deactivated, it got damaged. So at that point of time, lot of water was stored in that nuclear power. Okay, so that water which is there in Fukushima nuclear power plant, that water is contaminated. Okay, it is contaminated because of radioactive elements. Okay, So recently the government of Japan, okay, government of Japan has decided in 2021 that they are going to release the stored water from there into the sea, right, into the ocean. But this has created huge controversy because like people in Japan, they believe that if this water is released into the sea, it's going to contaminate the sea, and the thing is the fish will be contaminated, and if people consume that fish, they may get, let's say, health problems. And there are many countries across the world, for example, Chinese government has already banned the import of seafood, or let's say fishes, from Japan. And there are many other countries who are raising their voice that Japan should not release this water. However, over the period of last 1 decade, from 2011 to 2021, they have treated that water, treated in the sense they have let's say reduced the contaminants in the water, they have taken out the contaminants. However, in the water, one particular element still remains, that is known as tritium, okay, or tritium. So that is still present in the water, and this cannot be, let's say, dissolved or taken away from the water, because it assumes the shape similar to hydrogen, okay, in water, the way that hydrogen stays, so it also stays. So however, the Japanese government has said the amount of tritium which is there in the water, it is 1/6 of the allowable limit, okay, it is 1/6 of the allowable limit by International Atomic Energy Agency. So there is an agency of the United Nations organization which is known as the International Atomic Energy Agency. So they have talked about like what is the safe amount of this tritium that can be there in water. So like the amount of tritium which is there, so it is 1/6 of the allowable limit. So Japan government says that it is completely safe and we can release the water. They have already started releasing water into the sea, into the ocean, but many countries have started posing, let's say, like a threat, or they are saying this, they are not doing it right. So that's the thing. So in this article, they have mentioned about some of the organizations that are doing studies of the water being released by Japan, and they have talked about some experts who have given their opinion related to this. So people say, although the water is safe, but the thing is those let's say fish, if they keep on consuming that thing, so that will lead to increased concentration of that particular thing into the fish. Yeah, bioaccumulation can happen, or biomagnification can happen, right? So that's the thing. So it will lead to health hazards, it will lead to health related problems. And one of the technology that is used to, let's say, de-radiate water, or let's say take out the contaminants from water, is also mentioned. Name of that technique is known as advanced liquid processing system. Okay, advanced liquid processing system. So this is used to take out the contaminants from water. It is able to take out 62 types of radioactive materials from water. Okay, 62 types of radioactive materials can be taken out from water using this particular method, which is known as advanced liquid processing system. So this is all in this article. Okay, so they have talked about like what is the controversy, wastewater controversy. So this is nuclear wastewater. So with this, we will move to another topic quickly. And we have a question. It says, recently seen in the news, a vortex separator in an advanced liquid processing system, ALPS. Okay, so we have seen advanced liquid processing system. It is able to, let's say, take out 62 different types of radioactive elements from water. But inside this liquid processing system, they have asked about a vortex separator. So a vortex separator in an advanced liquid processing system has a key advantage that, correct answer is options A, it can remove a wide range of solid particles from liquids, including those that are very small or have a low density. That's the thing. Okay, so correct answer is option A for this question. Explanation is given. You can go through the explanation in free time. Then we have another topic. We have discussed about this topic earlier also. So Vijay Lal has joined. Thank you so much for commenting. Now we have this. Refugees leave as Azerbaijan takes control of Karabakh. So we have discussed about Nagorno-Karabakh region. So Nagorno-Karabakh region is a conflicted area, and this conflict lies between two countries. On one side, we have Armenia. On the other side, we have Azerbaijan. So this yellow shaded region that we see, it is the Karabakh region. It is known as Nagorno-Karabakh region. So the thing is, people who reside over here, they are ethnically Armenian. However, this particular territory is inside Azerbaijan. So these people have a demand that they want to, let's say, like, join Armenia. But the thing is, like, Azerbaijan people, they wanted to control over here. And recently, the government of Azerbaijan, they have launched a massive military operation. And the thing is, the separatist people, they have been forced to flee. They have been forced to evacuate this particular place. And in this article, they have talked about that the people are, let's say, evacuating this place. Okay. So this place has been taken control of by Azerbaijan now. Azerbaijan has totally taken control of this particular region. And the conflict is not new. This conflict is, let's say, like, decades old conflict that has been there. So there is an organization which is known as Collective Security Treaty Organization, okay, CSTO. So that organization is headed by Russia, and Russia was earlier playing a key role in maintaining peace between these regions. So it was siding Armenia, but now Russia has not taken any side, and Azerbaijan has, let's say, taken control of this region. So Armenia says now they are going to forge more alliance with other countries, right, to take back control of this particular region. And in this article, they have mentioned about another thing, which is International Criminal Court. Okay, so International Criminal Court is a court under United Nations organization. United Nations organization has International Criminal Court, and this criminal court has issued arrest warrant against the Russian president Vladimir Putin. Okay, so they have said that, like, International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrant against Russian president. Okay, why? Because of the war crimes that it has done on on the people of Ukraine. Okay, so there are certain war crimes that are known as genocide. Okay, and like there are other war crimes, so they are totally prohibited under international law. So that's why, like, International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrant against Russian president. Okay, that's the thing. So these are the things that have been mentioned in this article. So this article is, let's say, like, good, and we have understood about a region also. Now this is another topic. It says Aadhar unreliable in hot humid India. Okay, Aadhar unreliable. So basically, like, there are different rating agencies. Some rating agencies are working in India, inside India, that rate different organizations in India, private organizations maybe. They also rate, let's say, municipal corporations. They rate state governments, they rate central government. But internationally also, there are many organizations that rank different countries based on their, let's say, like, financial profile. Let's say a country borrows some money from other countries, so how well they have been repaying. On the basis of that and on other parameters also, they rank different countries. So recently there is an organization which is known as Moody's. Okay, so Moody's, like, it is, let's say, Moody's is investor service. So they have recently talked about two systems. One system is, they have talked about Aadhar. They said that Aadhar system is not, let's say, foolproof. Why? Because we have hot and humid climate, and most of the people who are beneficiaries, let's say, they are laborers. Many a times their biometric does not match with the system. So highlighting that portion, they have said that, like, Aadhar system has vulnerabilities. Apart from this, in this article, they have talked about another thing which is known as World Coin, okay, or World Line project. Okay, there is World Line or World Coin project. So this project has been launched by Sam Altman, who is the founder of OpenAI, the ChatGPT. So this person has launched another project, World Line or World Coin project. So in this project, what happens, like, anyone across the world can create an account by doing their iris scan. Once they do their iris scan, they will get an account over there. They'll be able to open that account anytime. They can invest their money. And initially, once a person opens an account, so they will be given some free coins. So these are kind of, let's say, cryptocurrencies. Okay. So this World Coin project is also based on biometric system. The way that Aadhar system is based on biometric system. So they have said that like, although World Coin is more secure than the Aadhar system that we have. And in this article, they have talked about the vulnerabilities that are associated with centralized databases like Aadhar system. They say that only one organization has control of the entire Aadhar system. So the thing is like, systemic failures can happen. That if someone is hacking into their database, so like it will leak the data of, let's say, billions of people. Okay. So in this article, they have mentioned about that thing. They have said that like, there are other systems also that are adopted by different other countries. That is known as decentralized ID. So the ID that we have, Aadhar system, it is a centralized ID. Okay. It is managed by Unique Identification Authority of India. But in decentralized ID, it will be a cryptocurrency, let's say like, cryptographic based ID. Here the users will have control over their, let's say, biometric data. But in this case, the government has the control over the biometric data of users. Okay. So they say that decentralized ID is more secure, and many countries across the world has adopted decentralized IDs. Okay. So they have adopted decentralized ID. And in this article, they have mentioned about name of those countries also. One of the countries, Estonia, and it is known for fully digitalized public service, has embraced the SSI, self-sovereign identity, to grant citizens complete control over their digital identities. That's the thing. So Estonia is the only country in the world that provides all the public services through digital means. Okay, so they say Estonia has, let's say like, like adopted this particular technology, decentralized ID. So in this article, they have mentioned this, and also there are many countries like Catalonia, Azerbaijan, and Estonia. They have used blockchain-based system to issue digital identities. This Azerbaijan is over here also. They have adopted blockchain-based, and they have also taken control of Karabakh region. Okay, Nagorno-Karabakh region. Then we have another topic. This topic is again important. So, sir, even iris scanning can be hacked and can be decrypted. Yes, that's possible. It can be hacked also. But the thing is like, a person who has created that ID, basically like what is the unique point about that world coin or world line project? Okay, so like there was an editorial topic long back on this world coin project. Okay, what happens, this is known as world line or / world coin. Okay, world coin project. So over here, what happens when you create your account for the first time, you do iris scanning. After then your ID will be created, and the data, your biometric data will be erased from the system. Means like, no one will be having access to it. But the thing is that system will have the, let's say like, a key which is associated with your iris scanning. Means like your actual data will not be here anytime again if you want to log in. So the thing is like, it will recognize that key, okay, with your iris scanning. So that's why they say it is more safe. Okay. So this is the thing. But in Aadhar system, whatever biometric data we give, that biometric data exact copy is kept there. Okay. But here exact copy is not kept. The original thing is deleted. A key which was associated with that is kept over there. Now we have here, it says multiple entry exit option in higher studies may not suit India House panel. So the thing is like, we have the, let's say, national education policy. Okay, so we have national education policy 2020, and under this national education policy we have adopted multiple entry multiple exit option. Okay, we have adopted this. Means like a student can take entry after their 12th into educational institutes. After doing 1 year of study, they can opt out of it. So they will be getting a certificate. Okay, and if they do for 2 years, they are going to get a diploma. If they do it for 3 years, any course, they'll be getting a degree. But like, it does have an option that a student enters into institute A, does his study for 1 year, then he exits from that institute and enters another institute, and it does it for, let's say, another year. So multiple entry, multiple exit system was, let's say, envisaged through national education policy. And this multiple entry, multiple exit system is already functional in many Western countries. But the thing is like, recently some of the agencies of the government has notified that like, it is going to create troubles or problems for the institutions in India. because institutions are located at different places and also they have technical problems. So recently a house panel, means like, the parliamentary committee, one of the panel of the parliament, they have written a report. They have said to the parliament that, like, it does have, these problems may arise. So they have asked the government to relook into the system. Okay. So this is the thing. Okay. So as part of this, they have mentioned about academic bank of credit. For example, if you do a study for 1 year, you will be acquiring some credit, and if you join some other institute, that credit will be transferred. Okay. So that's the thing. And they have also said credit accumulation and transfer, means it is part of academic bank of credit itself. Okay. So they have highlighted concerns related to implementation of this thing by different educational institutions. However, it is going to do favor for the students, because like they are going to get flexibility. Okay. Then we have another topic. It says NASA's first asteroid samples land on Earth after release from a spacecraft. Okay. So NASA has a mission which is known as Osiris Rex mission. Okay, so it is a kind of mission of NASA. Under that mission, they have sent a spacecraft to collect samples from asteroid Bennu. Okay, there is an asteroid which is known as asteroid Bennu. So that spacecraft, I mean, like, this has been launched by NASA in 2016. It has collected the samples and it has brought the samples back to Earth. Okay, it has brought the sample back to Earth. So that's why this mission is important, Osiris-Rex mission, and we need to understand what are asteroids and asteroid Bennu. Okay, so asteroids are, let's say, rocky bodies, so they do not have any gases there. It's just total solid rock. It can be in metallic format, it can be in stone format and all. So these asteroids generally, let's say, revolve around the sun in orbits, like, which is between Mars and Jupiter. Okay, so it is between Mars and Jupiter. So that's the thing. So these asteroids, so here in this article they have talked about this asteroid, which is asteroid Bennu. Okay, so Osiris-Rex, what is the full form of this Osiris-Rex? This is also important. So I'm going to discuss about its full form through a question. So we have a question. It says the primary objective of Osiris-Rex mission recently seen in news. So it says to search for signs of life on Europa, to collect samples from asteroid Bennu. Okay, option C is right. To collect samples from asteroid Bennu, Osiris-Rex. Now, this is, let's say, option C is right. Full form of Osiris-Rex is origins, spectral interpretation, resource identification, security, regolith explorer. So this is a mission of NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration. So NASA is a space agency of United States of America. It's a space agency of USA. That's the thing. Okay, so this has been in news. So that's why it is important. So we need to learn more about Osiris-Rex mission. Maybe in next discussion I'll take it, and also learn more about asteroids. Then this topic is there. It's just a short topic. Whatever is written is not important, but the location is important. It says fighting ongoing after officer killed in North Kosovo attack. Okay, so Kosovo is a country. Okay, so there, let's say, like, an official has been killed, and after then lot of tension is happening there. Okay, so where is also this, this gunman holed up in North Kosovo clashed with authorities on Sunday, according to Prime Minister, like that. Okay, so where is Kosovo located? This is the location of Kosovo. This is the location of Kosovo. It's in Europe. Okay, it's in Europe. So that's the thing. Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Serbia, North Macedonia, then like we have Kosovo over here. So this location is important. It's a landlocked territory. Okay, completely landlocked. This is again important. So that's all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you so much, Vijay Lal, for connecting. Thank you.